Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I was just getting ready to make some twice-baked potatoes for my guest and company today. And we decided to document this process. In order to make twice-baked potatoes, you want to start by having potatoes, and we're going to go over the ingredient list. But you want to preset your oven to get ready them to cook. This oven runs cold, so it is set to 450. I normally do this at 425. We're adding some temperature just because this guy runs a little cold. For this process, you will need potatoes. We're going to be doing a lot today, so we have a lot of potatoes in 2 baking pans. As the name suggests, you will bake these twice. You will need potatoes, preferably from Texas. These are from Idaho, that's okay. You'll need potatoes. You'll need an oven. You'll need olive oil, sea salt, bacon, cheese, sour cream, butter, green onions, and some other miscellaneous tools, such as whatever you call this in your hometown. Comment below what you call that. It's different in every single town. But you will need potatoes and an oven, preferably from Texas. The potatoes, not the oven. To get started, you'll want to get that Texas/Idaho dirt off your potatoes. Normally use a potato peeler brush. We will be using this brush today. And you want to try to get as much dirt off as you can. When selecting your potatoes, that are from Texas preferably, you want them bigger than 1 Andrew fist. And you want them to have a flat end so they can lay down quite nice, and that way you can cut them in half and scoop out their potatoiness into a big bowl later. So we're going to go ahead and prep a bunch of these potatoes, but just make sure you get the water pretty hot and scrub them down as best you can, and we'll be right back. For part 2, you'll notice that we have now cleaned and washed these potatoes. These are example of good potatoes. We like these potatoes. These have done good things in the eyes of the Lord. These potatoes, however, are no good. These are terrible. They're really not. It's subjective, of course. But this, it's strangely shaped. It's small. It's going to be difficult to cut. And we have enough potatoes on our pan. So we're not going to use all these. These will become mashed potatoes or something later. But these potatoes, these are pretty good potatoes. They'll cut inside. They'll give us a lot of potato meat to throw into our mix, and it will be good. So now that you have given your potatoes a bath/shower and have cleaned them, you are going to violently take out your frustrations of the day on them. So grab a fork and you're going to start stabbing them. Now this is so when we coat them with olive oil and some salt, the skin gets more crisp and tendered up. This is a tip I learned from Food Network. You don't have to do this step, but I find it gives them a nice crisper skin. If you like eating potato skins especially, this is for you. We're going to give some good stabs. Maybe talk to your therapist if you find this too enthralling. I don't know. Think happy thoughts. All right, this is a well-punctured potato. We're going to go through and stab all these potatoes off camera so you don't have to watch us stab all these potatoes. If you like stabbing potatoes with a friend, great. Brittany's going to help me today. Alright, I already saw the top comment for this video in the future was spoingus, so we're going to call this a spoingus. We're going to take our spoingus, I think that's what it's called. We're going to take some olive oil, ethically sourced from California. And we're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the potatoes, just a little bit. This is a this is definitely a fair amount. And just try to get your potatoes a little oily. And we're going to take and we're going to start like brushing our potatoes with olive oil, get them nice and coated, and so it can start saturating the porousness of the spud that we have created the conditions for. When we get these in the oven, we're going to put them in our 450 degree oven, which is a little hotter than we normally do. We normally do 425 or 375 if you're feeling like you have all the time in the world. And we're going to put them in from 45 minutes to an hour. I'm still experimenting with this oven in particular, but the goal is for them to bake all the way through. So the innermost parts is soft and that white, brighter white potato color that you would typically see. And that way it is easier for us to scoop out and put directly into our mix. We ideally want to scoop them out while they are still fresh from the oven. That way they can help melt together our cheese and butter and start getting that mix a little more integrated. More of a chemical change in mind. You don't want to be able to see the individual pieces of the potato. They all must merge together. After we've given all these good guys a brushing with our you want to wash your hands of the extra oil. That's probably smart. And we're going to get messy. You're going to get messy a lot in this process, but that's what makes it loving. I'm going to give them some sea salt. You don't want to give them like an insane coverage in salt. I've not quite over salted the potatoes, especially since the potato skins you can just brush off the extra salt. But I'd imagine you want to not go insane with this. Salt one side and then make sure to rotate them and give the other side a salting as well. This is going to be like the only time we rotate the potatoes in this process. We will not take them out of the oven and flip them again. While they're in the oven, we'll be doing all our other prep work. So our next step after these go in the oven is to start making up our bacon, grating cheese, taming some sour cream, cutting chives, and whatnot. But we will be right back to do bacon. Oh hey, welcome back. This pan has gotten a little hot, and that's okay. Potatoes are in the oven. The thing we didn't mention is be mindful of spacing out your potatoes because you're going to cut all of them in half, and they will take up more volume on the pan because they won't be stacked as high. But we're going to start getting our bacon in the pan. This pan's a little hot, so it's going to be a little steamy. So, you know, you can make the bacon in a skillet, which I like to do. You can also bake the bacon, or you can use an air fryer. I would steer clear of using your microwave to make the bacon for this specifically. I normally use like applewood smoked bacon. Goes great with these, but you can't really taste the applewood smoke, so if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Also using like the bacon bits from a butcher shop is a really great way to get more bacon for your buck, which I have done before as well. If you're in a hurry, I'd recommend using the air fryer. We're going to keep a good eye on those. And as the bacon starts to cook in the skillet or air fryer or whatever method you are using, we're going to get a big bowl out and we're going to start grating some cheese to get it situated in the pan. For this, we're going to be using a lot of cheese. We're making a really abundant quantity today. Our go-to cheese is Tillamook. Tillamook, if you ever see this, please sponsor me. We're going to be using 3 types of Tillamook cheese. We're going to be using sharp cheddar, extra sharp cheddar, and extra sharp white cheddar. You can play around the cheese and the proportions. Sometimes I just use like sharp cheddar and extra sharp. And if you're feeling so inclined to, if you are moved by the Spirit, you can grate some extra cheese and leave it out. And that way you can put it on top so you can give it a nice cheese crust. For these ones, we're not going to do that today. We're going to start finishing up this bacon. Whatever method you would like is best. And we're going to get grating some cheese with a typical cheese grater. And we're back. With that bacon grease, after preparing all that bacon, I'm going to save this and use it for pork tenderloins that we're going to make with this. We did quite a bit of bacon. This is 9 or 10 pieces. And we grated a lot of Tillamook cheese. This whole batch. For this number of potatoes, this is appropriate. If you're looking for exact measurements, sorry, but we're going to use about 1 whole stick of butter, maybe 1.5. Really, we're going to talk about like how to find the right consistency for you in your own personal life. For the butter, I've been letting this sit out so it's gotten a little soft. If you're in a hurry and you forgot to take out your butter, you can always like grate some butter like that. It only works if it's a little harder. This is soft butter already. It's been sitting out. This room's warm. So we're just going to dump that in there. And once that's ready, it's ready. Things that I have tried before is putting the bacon grease directly into the mix as well to help melt the butter and the cheese before I put the potatoes in. I find that it can make the potatoes in itself a little too oily, so I refrain from that. As the potatoes keep baking, we're going to be breaking up this by hand directly into our mix and give it a first stir, and then we're going to be chopping our green onions and putting it into the mix as well. I'd like to use, for this amount, I would use like 2 or 3 of these size stocks. We're not going to do that today just because we don't have them with us, but we're also going to throw in the green onion that we've been growing at home. Look how cute it is. It's good green onion. And don't forget, you will be adding in quite a bit of sour cream. Again, I can't give you exact measurements. We're doing a very large quantity, volume of potatoes. So you want to take your bacon, you want to bring it over, and after washing and cleaning your hands, going to be breaking that up and throwing it directly into the mix. Then we will throw in some sour cream, give it a stir, cut our green onions, and put our green onions in here and give it a good stir around. It will look like a very unhealthy salad, but you did not come here for salad. You came here for spicy baked potatoes, and I will honor that. So, welcome back. Well, you didn't go anywhere, I did. Welcome back, me. We're cutting our green onions. Like I said, we would normally use more, so I'm just going to be cutting all of this. You want them to get in these, I'd say, pretty thick pieces, unless you are using this small green onion and you just want to chop as finely as you can. I would use all the way down to the white part. That's going to have more of that oniony flavor that can help bake throughout. We're also going to cut these excess skins and throw them in too, because we have free will, and why not? Mind my chopping. But as we're chopping these, we're going to throw them into our mix. We're coming back to show how ridiculous this recipe is. It requires everything you have, your heart, mind, soul, and sanity, and your spoons. You will be using your spoons a lot. So this is just everyday sour cream that you keep around in your cabinets and floorboards. And we're going to be using quite a bit. So for this amount, that's going to be 1 scoop, two dollops, maybe 3 dollops. maybe like a fourth one, maybe like 5 clips, maybe 6. Yeah, most of this for this amount, and it goes back to the consistency. When you're stirring it, once you put your potato mix in, if it is too stiff, like you're moving it and it's like, you know, concrete, throw more sour cream in it. So we got these scallops in. We're going to just, you know, this is the unhealthy salad. I would say you shouldn't eat this salad by itself, because it's cheese, sour cream, and bacon, soon to be green onion. I love salad. This is not a salad I would serve to my guests, unless of course I have baked them into spuds. And we're just going to give it a nice healthy mix. We're going with this amount, 2 sticks of butter. I would say typically you could do, depending on the amount, it all depends on the quantity. And one day we will make another video with exact measurements. Not anytime soon though. But give it a nice stir. Chop up some green onions, throw it into the mix. And these have been in there for about 40 minutes now. Let's take a peek, shall we? Yeah, that's lovely. Andrew, how do I know when my potatoes are ready? If you have to ask that, they're not. And welcome back again. You haven't gone anywhere. How fortunate. This is a long process. We're going to check one of our potatoes. It's been about over an hour. So we're going to see how they are. I think they're ready. I hope. Yeah, these look more than done. Typically they're a nice golden brown on top. These are a little more baked, which is great because that's going to have a very soft interior. These are a little hard actually. They might have gone a little over, but they are hot, they are ready. Oh my gosh, that skin got so crisp. Yes, and come look. Oh my gosh, these might just be my masterpiece, y'all. Oh yes, this is so great, this is fantastic. That skin is so crisp and tender, and the interior is so white and fluffy. Yes, this is great. You are seeing peak potato. We had those suckers in there for about an hour and a half at 450 to 475 in the week oven. I'm going to pull out this other batch. Nothing illuminates my world more than solid cooking. We're going to have some. We're going to be eating good. Those skins are so crisp. Oh my gosh, it's going to be like, oh, I don't even know. So from here, you want to calm down. And grab another spoon. Because the next step, of course, is we're going to go through and cut all these. I don't know what, like this way, like long ways. Not like this, not like that, like this. Straight across as they lay. And you're going to go through and you're going to carefully cut out the gooey interior of these so crisp potatoes. You're going to pop them out and you're going to put them in to the big bowl of joy and love. Optionally, you can sing songs as you do this. But we're just going to start scooping out. We want to get as much of the actual potato as possible without puncturing the skin. That way these will be nice shells for us to refill with our heavenly goodness. Oh my gosh, these are the best skins I think I've ever made. We're going to see how they taste, but I know my potatoes more than anything. I've been doing this recipe for going on 4 years now. I have tried so many different experiments. This is just the first edition video. This is the longest I've probably baked the skins at the hottest temperature. And oh my gosh, guys. That's good. This pairs great with any steak that you would like. I'd recommend meat with it. But then after you're done eating your steak and potatoes, as a good Westerner, you can save these out and wrap them in tin foil, or just put them in another container, and they will keep for quite some time if properly preserved. And you can eat them on the road cold, or you can re-microwave them, and then they can be like twice baked Zap potatoes. And you can have them for lunches. They contain all the necessary ingredients. They got meat, they got potato, they got butter, they got cheese, they got dairy, they got sour cream, and there's even some greenery in them. We got green onion. Isn't that right? Yeah. So I'm going to go through, and we're going to be periodically cutting potatoes in half, scooping out their insides, putting in a bowl and smashing them up and mixing it together. We'll be checking for that consistency. This is, again, 2 sticks of butter, 8 dollops of sour cream that will mix together quite nicely. And you'll want it to have like this nice together consistency. It's already starting to get there, as you can see. And as we add more potato, the thicker and more dense it will get. And if it gets too dense, we'll throw in more butter, we'll throw in more sour cream, and it will be great. So if you excuse me, I'm going to get chopping. Hey, I'm still cutting. Yeah. So for this technique, it depends on your skin's consistency. Sometimes it's more gentle skin, and if it breaks and like you destroy a husk, you can just like take the extra potato and your potatoes will be overfilling. I'll show you the next one, but you really want to stab in the center and go down, kind of like you're gutting and cleaning a fish. I don't know if you do that, but you'll be gutting and cleaning a potato, and then you can take these skills and use it on a fish. And that'll be great for you. But as you can see, spacing your potatoes, you can come over here. Spacing your potatoes can get a little challenging. They can be pretty compact. You see, just pushing them down a little bit, they can be compact. Like these guys, they'll be fine, right? Oh, and you can come and look at my wonderful, just oven warming garlic and olive oil and bacon fat, getting ready for these pork tenderloins. I recommend cooking. Just in general. I recommend cooking. Looking at this consistency so far, we might want to add the rest of that sour cream. If I sound like a madman, sorry, thought I lost you there for a second. But cutting and cleaning a fish. Pretend this is a potato. And you're going to take it, and you're going to go straight in the center here. With this thicker skin, this is better. Then you go straight down. I destroyed that part of the skin. That's okay. Of course, we'll do more examples. And you want to go straight down and come on. This is the worst potato of the bunch I've cut, and it's because you're watching. Oh you, my friends. But the shells are fine because this is such crisp and perfect skin on the potatoes today. Sometimes you can ask a very large man to stand here and just continually stir. I don't have one of those right now. But sometimes I do. You know who you are. But this is a perfect opportunity to ask a very large man in your life to come over to your kitchen and to stir potato mix for you. Because that would make this process go a little more easy, because every once in a while, you see what I mean as they're fresh out of the oven as we're mixing it. It's melting this cheese very nicely. And it's mixing everything in. Now, Brittany was asking me an interesting question. And that question was, Andrew, why don't you throw a bunch of seasoning in this too? And the answer is you can. But for these potatoes in particular that I've been working on, this is more of an independent ingredient study than a seasoning study. You really want to be able to taste that Tillamook cheese and sour cream and bacon that you choose. They're very, very flavorful on their own. So adding extra seasoning might actually subtract from their potatoiness. We want a very good grounding and sensible flavor. All right, we're going to try this one. Pretend this is a potato. This skin's a little softer, so we're going to gently go down. See on that edge, it doesn't want to go. And you know, say it's a thick skin like this, you can go on the other end. You can kind of cut it, then you can go around the sides. See, it still doesn't want to. Oh, this potato smells very earthy, very grounding, very at peace with itself. We could all learn from them. All right, we're going to keep scooping out, and we'll be right back to start filling these husks. This is a messy part, and before you do this part, you want to wash your hands. So this is a lot of potato. As you can clearly see, and this consistency, it's a little tough, and I'm going to add more sour cream to help lighten the load of the stirring, like I was mentioning earlier. And as we stir, like you'll see that it gets a little easier to stir. Look at that. Look at that. Now, when you're sampling your spud mix here, we're looking for something that tastes like a cheesy potato. But when you sample it, there should be a little voice that lights up in your mind that screams with delight. So we're going to just sample here. That's pretty good. That's pretty, we use a lot of the Tillamook sharp cheddar. So this has a lighter, sharper cheddar taste, probably because we were using a lot of the extra sharp cheddar. I definitely think this is cheesy enough. It has the right butter consistency. I think this batch is going to be perfect for this amount of potatoes. Look at all these. This is ludicrous. Oh, hit this here. Yeah. So, next up, you will be using your hands for this, so sorry. But make sure you wash them after cutting. And then we are literally going to stir this just a little bit more. Then we're going to be taking this spoon and we're going to be divvying these up. You have more mix than you think. Because think about this, you just took potatoes out of here and you added a bunch of other things. So the mass has increased. So they will be overflowing on top. All right, in a second. So I'm just giving this a little bit more stir. As a reward for your labor, you get to clean this bowl by taking a spoon and sitting on the ground and just getting all the extra edges off. I'm kidding, no one would do that. You're going to take your potato and you're going to start filling it. You can use a spoon, but really this is a personal process, which is why you really want to wash your hands well. It's also going to pop back in an oven that's 400 degrees. But you know, hygiene is important. I don't know of any better method. And you see, the reason why you want your first baked potatoes to be in the oven for a while is you want to try to get all these like potato chunks out. This is like still a hard bit of potato, but luckily we can break it out here. If it's still like raw potato when you put them back in the oven, you're going to have a lot of potato chunks that are like, you know, unflavored, unsalted, unbuttered potato. Which, you know, if that's your thing, I won't diss you, but that's not why we're here, you know. We're here for a specific reason, and that's to make these. Yeah. So as we go through, we're going to be like paddling. If your skins aren't as crisp as you would like, and say they got broken a little bit apart, luckily this works as a nice cheesy paste glue where you can pull the skin back onto it as it bakes. But we're not going to have that problem today. These skins are nice and crisp and loved by God. Don't quote me on that, I guess. They're made in God's earth. So we're just going to go through and we're going to keep filling these. Again, if you're feeling so inclined, like you really want to send that like cheese crispiness home, you can grate some more cheese that you find adequate, and you can put a little bit of them on top. I'd go in the center on top, and that when they bake, they get like a nice molten lava-y like cheese top on them. If you're going to do that, you want to put them in the oven and be watching them and wait for the potatoes to start getting a little crisp on top, and then you want to switch your oven to broil, and that way they get like a nice, like, you know, cheese layer on top of all of the spuds. You can see this is a messy process, but you know, all's fair in love and war and spuds. Any extra potato that we have out, we will like go back and we will reallocate our funds. If you're not a meat eater, or you have someone in your life who's not a meat eater, save out the bacon, mix everything together, and fill a couple of potatoes with the mix. My mother doesn't eat meat, so we hold out the bacon. I don't know how much it impacts the actual mix. I do like just having the bacon in it. It's less work, but you know, you gotta love your mom, right? That's important. Anyone in the comments talking about Sigmund Freud, you're banned. That's facts. We're just going to keep going through. I can't believe you're staying with me during this whole process. Getting really intimate with these potatoes. Intimate in a non-weird and healthy way. I feel like Western culture has lost touch with their food. And this is a great way to bring back some of that in your life, I guess. I don't know who you are. Maybe. Hi, Father Jurinesz. If you're watching this for the second time, congratulations. So, we've set our oven to 400 degrees, and we're going to pop these right back in the oven. As you can see, they're nice and full. Ooh, that's hot. Very nicely. With this amount, like, you know, we're trying to bake them on the same level. That way they're nice and fresh. Yeah, look at that. All right. So we're going to leave these in here for probably about another 30 to 45 minutes. And then we're going to take a look at them, take a little peek. Once they start turning like, you know, golden, more done on the top, that's how you know to take them out. Because remember, the potatoes are already baked. Hooray for you! All right. Catch you in a second. Wow, look at that. So these were in for about 30, 35-ish minutes actually. Glad we checked on them. They look just brilliant. Really, really, really great. That nice golden crisp on top is just splendid. You want to make sure to turn your oven off. Actually, if you already forgot, turn your oven off. But these are twice baked potatoes. We want to let them cool for about, you know, 5 to 10 minutes probably. It's probably molten hot in there. And then, you know, serve with your favorite dish. All right, thank you. For future reference, we will now get some honest to God opinions over people who have eaten these potatoes.
Wow. That's good eating.
The best food, American food I've had in 15 months.
Easily top 3.
Easily top 3. You heard it here first, folks. This labor of love is worth something. All right. Hasta luego.